Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to look at my dome light. So I've got my headliner out and I'm testing the wiring, and I really do not like the map light that came on these. Anybody who's got a Fox buddy knows what I'm talking about. So here's the map light, and I'm not a giant fan of these, and I don't want to replace it with another map light. So what I'm going to do is I've got an LED strip light that I'm going to put in the middle of this. So I'm basically going to remove this piece here, a couple of rivets on the back of it. So I'm going to drill these rivets out, get that light out of there, and then I'm going to replace it with these. Red, you know, I wasn't going to do the red, but my car's red and I have these laying around anyway. So I'm going to do these. I'm sorry for the haters that think they're stupid, but at least it'll be some light in here. And I can always, the way that these ones are modular, and you can just unplug it here. So if I decide that the red's not bright enough and I want something like a white light, I can always unplug this and put something else in its place moving forward. So I'm gonna try these. We'll see how they work. These were like 20 bucks at AutoZone, I think it was. So I'm gonna see how these work, and I'm also gonna put a switch on this because right now there's nothing. So what I'll probably end up doing is adding a switch that's right on the side here. I picked up some really small toggle switches that should fit in here pretty good. So what I'll do is cut a little hole, probably with a drill bit. I'll drill a hole in here, and then I'll make sure that it's the right size with a knife that I've got, a utility knife more than likely. That way I'll be able to turn it on so that it either works with the door or comes on. So that's my plan. So I'm going to cut into, you can see the wires that I've got up. This wire right here, the one that's hanging, this is for the dome light that's normally in the back, and I'm going to make them both work together. So it will turn them both on either with the switch manually or with the doors. So that's my plan. I think it'll work out pretty darn slick. Let's get to it. So first things first on this, you can see how hot these light bulbs get. You can see that it discolors this, and the bulbs just burn out. So an LED, and they do sell LED lamps for this. It's just not what I have laying around here, so I'm going to do something different and use that LED strip light. So here's a closer look of these lights here, and you can see that they're modular. So they've got a little plug on the end here. That plug comes out, and there's just some adhesive tape on the back. This one's the easier one, so we're going to knock the rivets out of this one first. The challenging part about drilling these rivets out is that they tend to spin on you, so you got to hold them from the backside. There we go. There's the light. I originally wanted to attach it like this because I feel like the wire will go in this way a lot easier. So here's the switch I've got, and it's just a 3-position rocker switch. So in the middle will be off, and then one side will work with the door and one side will be constant power. That's kind of the premise. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut it in right about there in the middle, so that I've just got a little on-off switch on the side. So it'll be door, manual, and it'll just be right about there. So that's kind of the premise there, and then I will take a knife and cut it out a little better. So this little guy slings plastic all over. That's why I usually don't like to use it, but I'm gonna go nice and slow. Safety glasses. All right, so I got the little place for the switch carved out. Looks good. It'll look nice when it's up there. And then I'll just have to put some little put some little connectors on here to get the wires where I want them to be, and we'll call it good. Got to do a little bit of work on this mount because my piece is broken. So I've got a lot of these mounting holes. This one's broken. This one's not going to work anymore. So it normally went into that right there, which is an open hole connecting to this wire. So that's not going to work anymore. What I need to do, and the other mounting hole is broken. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole. It's going to be right through that back piece there and into there. So you can see this piece right here is what I'm going to have to drill a hole into. And what I'm going to do is hold it up here where it mounts normally and get a hole drilled. You can see we'll go right through this with a screw. And there we go, like that. So that screw will hold it here in the back. Then I'll have to have another one right up front here somewhere to hold the front piece. Probably gonna try to reuse that hole. We'll see what I can get to work. All right, so you can see I've got this mounted up here. What I ended up doing was using this mount hole with one of the stock screws, and then drilling a hole for the back piece. So I ended up putting one of these little clips on here and using a stock screw. That way that hole will still work. And then I drilled that hole just using another screw for that. So it'll work out pretty good. I got a light that gives you a little bit better view, but you can see this little clip that I put in here to utilize that hole that's way too big for a screw. So I grabbed one of these clips. That'll pop right in there. Then I can just use that stock hole along with that one that I drilled there. So before I get started on the wiring of this, I need to test everything and see how it is. So this is the factory light, or the factory wire that went to the map light. And then the other one is back here. I'm gonna remove it. And this was the one that went to the dome light. So this should be powered up when the doors are open. So I'm gonna test and see what sort of voltage I'm getting and go from there. All right, so we got no power to the map light. And I have a door open right now. No power to the dome light. Alright, so I've got to find where those wires are and figure out what's going on with them. One thing that's nice is if you've got the manual for your car, which they're old, so, right? So, page 140 in my manual's got a fuse outline of what's where, and I should be looking for a fuse in position, looks like 8. And if I go to the page before that, it shows me where 8 is. So it gives you a diagram of where that is. So that's what I'm going to do, is look for where my fuses at and figure out what's going on with it. See if I've got power or if there's even a fuse there. Alright, so fuse slot number 8 right there. Found a blown fuse. So we're going to replace that fuse, see if we got power, and go from there. Alright, so after I got that fuse replaced, I've now got power for the dome light when the door opens, and also for map light. So I'm going to use the map light power, will be my constant power for the switch for whenever I want to operate it in manual, and then I will have the trigger wire coming from the doors, turn it on if I've got the switch in the door position. Be easy enough. So I got the fuse replaced, and now I'm just putting some terminals on so I can plug it into my switch and test it. So this one's my positive all the time, and then this one will be the positive when the doors are working with it. This one will be our ground hole, and the other one's the mounting hole. All right, preliminary test. So I've got everything hooked up. I've got power to these, and turn the switch on. There we go. So there's power with the doors. You can see the light on off with the doors. And there's our off position. There's on all the time. So that'll work pretty good. And I've got some zip ties here, so eventually we'll get this mounted right up in here, like that. And I'm going to use the tape, but I also wanted to make sure that if the tape loses its stickiness, that it's still going to stay up there. So I'll drilled a couple holes, got some zip ties, that'll stay there. The other one will get routed back here to where the other dome light's going to get mounted, so it'll be right up in here, kind of like that. Once I get, sorry you can't see, I've got my wires to the voltmeter in the way. Once I get the dome light mounted again, it'll be right up in this area. It would be kind of right like that. And I think it'll be neat. It's not going to be super bright, but the intent is just for some light because I have nothing in the car right now. So we'll get the headliner put in, and then we'll see what it looks like. So the headliner's in, and right now I just got this mounted up here. Let's see, we've got switch is working, so that's on. That's on the door. Oh, other way maybe. Yep, there we go. So that's door, that's on, and then middle is off. And I'm going to use this sticky tape right here. There's that part of it. I think it'll be pretty cool. It'll at least give me some light inside the car. All right, so I got the dome light situation squared away. You can see I got the headliner in. Let you see what it ended up looking like. But also, you can see there's the dome light. And on the side of it, you can see there's my switch. So I can operate it either with the door or manually or off like it is now. And then what I ended up doing back here was that. So I just made a aluminum plate, and it screws in, and then this light is attached to it there. So let me show you guys what it looks like. And yes, red, I know. So these ones are really neat because they're modular, and I think I told you guys that before, because I can literally just unplug this little connection on the end here, put a new one in, and easy as pie. I just had these, so I did it, and I like it. It actually looks kind of neat when it's all lit up. I'll show you guys what it looks like. So you can kind of see the red tint to it, but then when you shut the lights off, I think it looks pretty cool. And that's just with the dome lights on. So at least now I'll have some light in here, and I have a switch so that I can, see, I'll turn it so that it's on the door. We'll open the door up. There we go. Turn the switch the other way. I can find it in the dark. There we go. Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have comments, questions, put them below. I appreciate your input. We'll see you on the next video.